So, I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about my setup for tapping. Today is day number 3 tapping. Just wanted to show you what I have, because everybody does it a little different. I'm not going to say that there's one way that's right or wrong, because everybody does it different. But I'm going to start right out with the gloves here. I'm using Gorilla Grip gloves this year, or at least right now. I usually just use you know, like a light glove, like a mechanic's glove or whatever, and they work great. But a friend of mine showed me these. They're a non-slip glove, and they're nice and light. They're waterproof. I wore them all day yesterday. It was only like 26 degrees out. I did get a little cold in one hand, but for the most part, they seem to be working. So I'm gonna stick with those. And maybe you notice here how my drill is right on my chest. A lot of people struggle with how to hold a drill, how to carry a drill. For me, this seems to work the best. You know, it's centralized. The weight is on me, and you know the bit is protected. You know, in the fact that it's kind of centralized and away from my hammer. I'm right-handed, so as you can see, when you pick the hammer up, you know, you don't want to hit that bit, or when you're setting it back down, you don't want to hit that bit. It's pretty quick to grab the drill, do what you need to do your drilling. Usually, you know, you just go like that, set it back up on there. If I'm going through a tough section, you know, I can just put a hand on here and hold it. Can always just spin the bit out, take the bit out if I need to. If I'm traveling a long distance, like when I'm going to get on the 4-wheeler here in a minute, I'm going to take the bit out to move. Tubing tool. This is called the mini tool, light tubing tool from Pruno. It's a little bit older model. Definitely one of my favorites. There's many different variations and versions of this. I really like this one. Super light. It's nice to just have on a rope and swing by the side. Because we are pushing spouts on, you know, we're using a 90-degree spout. This is H2O Innovation 1964 spout. Works pretty good, but you can't always push the tubing on with your hands. So you definitely need the tool for that. And it's nice to have the tool to make repairs. If you're going to put a drop in, take a drop out, put a straight in, you know, disconnect, connect, whatever you got to do. So, all right. So yeah, I showed you the hammer. See the drill. Got that. Let's take that off for a sec. Tubing. You always got to have a roll of tubing. Doing different things. I like to carry a roll of drop tubing, a nice soft tubing. It's a lot easier to work sometimes, and you never know when you might need a piece for a drop, so it's just handy to carry that. I also carry pre-made drops as well. You just never know when you got to make a change or whatever. You're probably looking at my setup here. Of course, this camera makes me look fat a little bit, huh? It's just the camera angle, I promise. 200 pounds, less than 200 pounds. So this bag system, I'm trying to show you here, is something I came up with. I'll spin all the way around. You got 2 bags in the back, 2 bags on the side. These bags will hold 200 of these. There's probably 125 in this bag right now. They'll hold 200 no problem. You know, they come in boxes of 1,000, so we put them in the bags. Just easy to control. You know, I can cap the top, and you know, put it in the 4-wheeler or whatever, put it on the snowmobile and go wherever you need to be. My back pouches, you know, I got some connectors. Got to have your straight fitting. Always got to have your straight fitting when you're working in the sugar woods. And then the other bag, I have 2 different kinds of tees. The blocked tee, very important for the end, and then of course, regular black tee. Got to have these. It's a must-have when you're working in the woods. So, I carry light. I don't have a lot of things on me. Yes, I have the necessities. Of course, we can always go back. Now, I want to talk about my tap hammer for a minute, because you probably been noticing, geez, that's a big hammer. So, this is a 16-ounce hammer. Just a regular hammer, right? It is a fiberglass hammer. I switched to fiberglass 2 years ago because a regular steel Estwing was just making my hands cold, and I said there's got to be a better way. So I switched to this fiberglass, which is nice. I thought about cutting the handle off because very rarely do I hit a spout like this, unless it's way up, really high reach. However, the reason that I use this hammer, as you can see right here, this claw, that claw right there, that doubles as a chainsaw. Well, it wouldn't be a chain, it would be an axe, I guess. Or let's say a hammer cutter. Sometimes when you're way out on a line and there's just a, you know, a small tree, a little 4-inch one or whatever, you know, and you cannot move it by hand, if you just chip away at it a couple times with this, you'll break it. Things are good, just keep on rolling. Also, if you have to chip bark on a really thick bark, big tree, you know it's handy to have this. I realize a lot of the topping hammers have that on them. But I prefer the 16 ounce. I've always liked the 16 ounce. The little aluminum ones, I feel like they bounce too much with the plastic ends and everything. And they work for some people, I guess. But my spouts do not leak. They don't fall out. I've had that happen. I've been there. I've done that. You know, we're like 17,500 spouts this year. So, you know, and it's just myself mostly in the woods. Maybe another guy. I don't have time to go pound spouts back in and mess around with that. I don't want to do that, and it's not good to have them be leaking. Obviously, that's gonna upset the whole situation with drying out the tap hole and all that. So I don't deal with that. Again, so I'm just not a fan of the aluminum hammer, but it works for some people. Not saying it is or isn't right. And the other thing I'm wearing today, chains. Got my chains on. Got my chains on. It's so icy out there right now. You think it would be all melted out. It's very icy and very dangerous. First day out, I did not like it, so I had to get my chains on. Got my snow pants on here. Gotta have that. Gotta stay warm, be comfortable. If you get cold, you're not comfortable, you're miserable. You start doing not such a good job. So you know that's important. What else? That's pretty much it. Oh, wait a minute. Gotta have your cutters. The Corona 3110. This is a cutter of my choice. Square anvil on it, so you can cut across the piece of the fittings and peel the fittings back off if you have to. I know you're not supposed to do that, but there are some times when you have to do that, and I'll make a video and show you how to do that here one of these days. Spare bit. Always carry a spare bit with me. Nice brand new bit, ready to go. You just never know. Believe it or not, I had one in my drill that was drilling perfect. I liked it. It was nice and sharp. Usually change every 1,000 anyways. But I got back to the building here and I dropped my drill. You know, sometimes you just drop things. I dropped my drill on the floor. Didn't even know it hit the bit. Did not ruin the bit. The bit was still sharp. It bent it. The very first hole I went to drill yesterday with that same bit. See, that's why you always take your bit out of the drill. I had the bit in the drill because I was cleaning it off. But anyways, I dropped the drill and it bent the bit. I did not even know it until I went to drill a hole and it was all wobbly around. I rechecked, thought something was wrong in the chuck. Nope, the bit was bent. So that's why I always carry a spare bit, because you never know when you might break it or damage it in some way. So, yeah, I guess that's it. Oh, new drill this year also. I got the brushless, Makita brushless hammer drill. It's a nice light one. Usually I take it apart and I take out the hammer drill guts, take all that stuff out to get rid of some weight. But honestly, this thing's pretty nice the way it is, and the chuck isn't wobbly when it's new. A lot of times these things come and they'll be all wobbly when they're brand new. So I take them apart and tighten things up with some glue and some other parts and pieces in there because they're wobbly, and you can fix that. But this new drill I'm very impressed with. I'm real happy with it. Running a 6 amp hour battery. It's not a Makita battery. This is an aftermarket battery. You can get them on eBay usually for like 30, 40 bucks. I buy 2 new ones every year to start the year with, and this one's actually last year's battery. I numbered it 1.6. I don't know. Yeah, so it's time to get tapping here and get going. The season is, we might get sap this weekend, so it's time to buckle down here. I'd like to get 5,000 in by the time we're getting a little sap. You know, maybe 4,000 would be okay too, because if we are going to get sap, we need enough of it to warrant doing something with. So, you know, if we're going to have the vacuum on, we want to be able to fix the leaks and make all that worthwhile. So we need some taps in. Right now, I think we have about 1,500. So after today, we'll probably be about 2,500.